So
I read both.
So we'll be recording this session, and I'd really like to hear from you your thoughts on this book and our second book. Were you able to read both?
Yes, I read both.
Okay, so TF, do you want to go first?
So let's go first. I'll second.
Okay, so Amabala, would you like to go first?
Sorry?
Would you like to go first? We'd like to hear your thoughts on.
I said you go first. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, my network is a bit messed up here.
Okay, I was asking if you would like to go first.
No, I said you should go first. You can. I'm actually typing. It's
Okay,
okay, you me.
Okay, because I can't go first because I'm the author. So I cannot go first.
Okay, there's no that person, just me and you.
No, TF is here.
And so let's TF go first.
TF, do you mind going ahead? Okay, so I can see what you typed, but like I said, I'm the author, so I will not talk about the one that I authored. I'm going to talk about the other one, which is I had to, if we can't hear TF. So I'll try to bring that up. Because that's a short story by Adebukola Basi of BMS Editorials. I'll try to bring that one up. And we can talk about that one instead. Or TF, are you with us? Can you hear us now? Hello, TF. Hello. It's taking forever. Okay. It looks like I'll be going through.
So I think my network is a bit stable now.
All right, so let's go. So you can see.
Yeah. So can you hear me? Can you hear me audibly now? I have to change my position.
I can hear you audibly.
Oh, great. So I will go first on Adanna.
Okay.
And for Adanna, what happened to her? Number one, let me start with the very first paragraph of she, wanting to, she succumbed to the social media pressure. Social media is their false, I call them false family. Because the hyping and everything, if you are not thinking well, if you are not what's it called? If you are not, I think thinking well, or you're not ready for a thing, don't if you're not ready to start up something fully, seeking opinion from the SM family sometimes might not be favorable, because most people at that point in time will give their opinion based on how they feel at that particular time. Now, okay, so I'll use myself as an example now. I'm into cakes, events, event planning, decoration, and all. I used to be a white collar person. Most people know me as a white collar person. So when I ask one or two few around me that I have passion for cake, I have passion, let's just organize things, let's decorate stuff. It's something I do effortlessly. Wake me up from sleep and say, come and plan this event. I won't think twice before doing it. It's something that comes to me freely. And yeah, I know starting up at the beginning might be a bit rough, because I won't be able to focus. It's either I focus on the white collar job or I stick to that. And how it is when you are starting new business. In fact, when I read the chapter 1, I saw myself in Adana. it's always very nice when you have to plan. You've done your own homework, you've done your own planning very well before you succumb. And of course, one or two people say, go ahead into it. You are good. People will just be giving you job anyhow. You will be amazed at the way jobs will be coming. Let me shock you, sis. If this is the second year that I started that, I can count how many jobs I've done.
Wow.
Yeah, I can count on my finger, maybe up to 5 or thereabouts. And they are just from now. Sorry, I'm speaking Yoruba. You just to express myself further. She's not doing anything. Let's just use that to help her. Do you understand? And that was what I saw in Adana. Yes, she's got the poise, she's got the everything in writing, the writing skills and all. But the fact that she succumbed to the internet family, the false, I call them the false family. You know, the chapter 1 tells us that she actually was seeking opinion if she could, and everybody was, yeah, this is nice, this is lovely, this is. And after she launched the first one, she had just 2 likes. And that's a major discouragement. Imagine how much she had to spend, the guy she had to pay, the setup she had to do, a lot of things. So lesson 1 for me there is never use the SM as your yardstick.
Okay.
Because sometimes, in most times, you don't get to have a real sense of, you don't get the right platform. Because now most of the people that told me, now go and do this thing, now this is what you do, you do it for people freely. Start doing it. I did my design. It's only website I did not do. I have an IG page, I did flyers, I did cards. The people that I do for freely, they were wanting it freely. But I wanted people to start paying, and that was very difficult for them to understand. And I tell something from what I've learned in business. Number 1 rule of business is your family is your number 1 enemy. Your number 1 enemy. Don't expect if they're out of every 10, every 2 will give you the full support they have. The remaining 8 will want you to do it like the normal business, everyday business. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Why should I charge you? Why should I, or why should you charge me? But that kind of, and they forgot that business with family should be business, either with family or extended or with whatever. Business should be business. That is how one can grow. So I had that feeling, having to look up to people and, okay, if I start, this one will tell this one goes to party very well. It will tell this one that I know somebody, but it wasn't just coming. It was all calculated in my head, but the reality was not, reality, so to say. So that was for me, the chapter 1 for Adana. Now the chapter 2, a friend, when she had to call the friend, and they had to both, she gave the friend some advice, and it boomerang and all those ones. I think the number 1 for the husband was that it wasn't supposed to be working, and at the same time, I know that's a rule in almost every well-standard organization. You don't run a business while you are still in paid employment. So for what's her name? For the friend, I'm trying to remember her name now. Jumoke, thank you, ma. She actually did right by informing our HR from the beginning that, see, this is what I really want to do. That was more like a saving grace for her. Now, I think for Jumoke's husband, there's more than meets the eyes. Why would she tell you somebody is siphoning money from you guys, and because it happens to be your friend's friend or whatever, you're not paying attention to that? That is a red flag. In fact, when I read that, the first thing that hit me was that, could it be that Jumoke's husband and this guy are colliding together to siphon funds?
That's another angle.
Yeah, that's another angle. Because you won't be wasting. Do you know what she said? That she said they pay the guy monthly and they've not made one sale, not even one. Wow. And you kept paying him. There's something I've learned in business, that when you're doing something, when you're projecting and your projection is not falling to bear, go back to your drawing, go back to your map, to your map, and re-strategize. And the fact that Jumoke's husband was not ready to do that was not something, was not an attribute that is good. It wasn't an attribute that is good. That means that he prefers, we were not really told how rich they were. You know, we didn't know how the strength of their financial status. So maybe because he has the money, he didn't give a hoot throwing it off the hook, just but in business, your business has to be able to fund itself. If your business is not funding itself and you are still incurring money into it, then I'm sorry, that is stupidity. That is not, that does not speak well of the book. It's either the principles of the business is that they are not business moguls, or they are just carefree. That's why I said we're not told their financial strength. So we really can't say that, oh, because they had plenty money, the guy was ready to be doling out money. And why would you be, another question mark I had, why would you keep funding a business for like more than a year and it's not yielding you one profit and you keep doing it? That didn't make any sense. For me, it didn't make any sense. You know, then going back to when Adannah felt backstabbed and betrayed, because she actually sought the consent of Jumoke. Now, we were not told if Adannah used the real name or she used fiction names. Where, you know, while she brought the story up on her page, there was because I actually read that, I read that part like twice to be sure that she didn't, we're not told if it was a fiction name that was there or she used the real names. Because the situation could have been anybody. The situation could have been anyone. So why would the guy feel that he's the one they are gaslighting?
Okay, so can I ask you a question around those? So TF, are you with us now? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am. I've been with you since, but I'm busy. That's why, and I don't want interference with you because my son is here too.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to ask you if you had anything you wanted to say about Adanna'S Trybe.
Well, the problem is because what would I call it? Military dictator Nike came down on us and said, okay, it was mandatory. That's why I'm here. Because honestly, I had to close my computer because I've been very busy. And I really think you should go easy on us, please. I've not even had time to read it at all. But I just wanted to be here at least out of respect. You know?
I know you're going to. I will tell you what I plan to do with others very soon. But
please, no, I think you should go easy on it because honestly, if you know the huge load of work that I have this week and I'm not done, and I'm thinking maybe it might be the same for others too, you know?
I will think about it, but you know, you are very compassionate. But I will tell you.
I just needed to respect the fact that I was the one that has to be added to the group.
I've told you what I've decided. I will tell you what I've decided, but with this, I know with the way you are sounding now, you are going to be asking me for mercy, but I will still tell you.
Honestly, I'm telling you, people can be mad crazy. Because honestly, I was expecting, if it was Saturday or maybe Sunday, I probably would have been more relaxed because I usually don't work on Sunday. Sunday is my rest day, you know?
No,
so but you know, Friday, you know, I even had to choose the date that was the latest one, you know, the furthest from the ones you posted, honestly, because I didn't see myself coming on Thursday. I had so much, I've been in meetings upon meetings today. So please, I think it might be the same for others, you know.
So we will discuss this later, but I'm going to give you very stringent options. But okay, so back to the gist. So I have a question for you, Omobola. What do you think Adannah should have gone ahead and posted anyway, whether she used real names or not? Are there some things that when people tell you, you just need to take them off social media?
Okay, so remember that she sought the consent. Remember two things we need to look back into. Remember, she joined a business group page that would enlighten our world. So out of, I guess, I would say, I don't want to, anxiety is not the word, it's not the best word. Out of overzealousness, thank you very much. But aside that, she asked the owner of the story, would you love me to put this on my page? And she gave her a go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So TF, can you kind of weigh in on that? So a friend is talking with another friend over lunch and she's sharing some of her challenges that involves like her husband, the business that she's running with her husband. And the person that did them dirty is the husband's friend. Yeah. And then she shares it with her friend, and then the friend goes on social media and shares that story. She got consent from with her consent.
Okay,
with her consent. But the lady did not get the husband's consent or any other person's consent. So the lady gave the consent. But then by the time so it was a case of that someone had done a website for them and they were not getting, it was supposed to be an e-commerce website, but they were not getting any traffic and they were not selling anything. And so Jumoke is the friend, Adanna is the poet. And so Jumoke tells Adanna about it. Jumoke is married, Adanna is not. And then Jumoke tells Adanna about this, about her case, because kind of in the conversation. And so Adanna shares it on her page, and it went viral, long and short. And then eventually the husband's friend, who was the website owner, took offense because he believed it was a story and all of that. And it kind of it snowballed into something really huge for Jumoke, affected her marriage and all of that. So the question I have is that, are there some things that when your friend shares with you, whether your friend is willing to give consent or not, are there some things that you personally should be screening out and saying, nah, this does not really belong to social media? Or was Jumoke's consent enough? That's the question.
Well, the problem I foresee with that issue, with the situation, is that the husband might see it, the husband's friend might see it. I don't really care about what the husband friend feels, but I care what the husband feels, because if he sees it and it does not sit well with him, it might create friction in Jumoke's marriage. Exactly. But as a person, I am not really a social media person like that. I do not write my personal stories on social media. So if you tell me something and I'm going to write it on social media, I'm definitely going to protect your identities, and I'm not going to share everything. I'm going to leave some things out, or probably just write it like a riddle, or just like an analogy in a way that people can weigh in for you to be able to understand the situation better and make a better decision, or have a better judgment, but not like I'm going to share with your information, or maybe with something that could give you away. I'll just share it like a story if I have to. But I'm not really a social media person like that. I don't take my stories. I don't take situations that I can make decisions on my own. I don't need social media to weigh in. So I think I would be advising my friend personally, and probably look for someone else that we trust and respect to advise her to. But I would not be taking it to social media.
Thank you. And just to throw in a thing about the website guy that they built a website and it was not bringing money, it was actually a true life story of a friend of mine. He had come to me and, he came to tell me that it was my ex-colleague. I know he was telling me that his website, that he's been paying this website developer, and it just keeps paying every month. As in, I heard Mobola saying, is it that he has so much money and all of that? Well, that's why I wanted you to know that it was actually a true life story. Yes, he kept going on about how
but what guy to be paying for is there was supposed to be a section, maybe a clause in the agreement as to how they are going to. Was the guy responsible for the returns from the site, or they are just paying him for hosting? Is the guy supposed to be the one putting it out for visibility and stuff?
My friend did not have a chatter with the guy. He didn't have anything writing. So
any agreement, any contract.
Yeah, so part of the reasons why I wrote this Adanna'S Trybe book is that I want to write about businesses and the mistakes we make, but I want to write about it in form of a story that we can we can deal with. And this is a real life story. So by the time he came to me to tell me that he just keeps paying this guy, I think he was paying him like 20K every month. So I was like, what are you paying him 20K monthly for? As in, what are his deliverables? What do you expect? So because my friend was in paid employment, so he didn't have a lot of time to monitor.
Okay, so that means it's not for hosting, it's for managing. So that guy is supposed to be managing the site. Because hosting is supposed to be paid once a year, I think.
Exactly. So I wasn't clear what exactly he wanted, what the guy was getting paid for monthly, because it wasn't they weren't making any sales.
They need to sit back down. They need to sit back. They need to go back to the drawing table. And then he needs to be blunt and very fair and very frank about what he wants and what he needs. He has to be very frank about his needs. This is business.
I've not even finished the story. So I had to ask him all of these questions. And my friend had no answers. My friend did not have the login details into the website. He could not get the website without the guy. It was just as in like he was just giving him 20K for nothing, really, or every month. Wow. So by the time he spoke with me, I now asked him to ask the guy for the login details of the website. The guy was very reluctant, but eventually he gave it to him. And by the time we began to investigate, apparently the guy was using the website for his own personal runs. Wow. And then by the time we began to ask him to give us when we wanted to take control of that website, I don't know what he went to do on the back end, but we now started getting a lot of spam comments on the website. And we had to condemn that website. We had to go and my friend had to go and get a new one. But I had to tell him that this new one you're going to get, you have to learn how to do better. You need to make it clear what exactly you are expecting from this person you're paying. What do you want him or her to do? You know, and then be clear, make sure you have the login details yourself as well, so you can supervise what is being done. Make sure that I know the business generally was just set on a very wrong foundation. The manager he got was not even competent in the field. I had to speak with him. I found out that he had someone that he could have put with, that would have managed that business better. And thankfully, we were able to bring that person on board. And the success story is that business is still thriving today.
Good.
So that's the success story. But it took us a while because, like you said, TF, my friend was very sentimental about the people he was hiring. For example, the manager, why did you hire the manager? He has been my staff, as in he's been with me for many years. And I was like, this guy is not competent for the role that you have put him in. And it doesn't, as in even training cannot help him because he doesn't have the basic education required that you can now train him that you can leverage on. And it took a lot to get my friend to let that guy go. The guy had to do some really strong things to my friend before he could let him go. So I wanted to document all those types of stories because sometimes we say, oh, the business is not doing well. The business is not doing well. And also, I also want to touch on something Omobola said about when Adanna wrote her first post, and then people told her to write a book of poetry. And then she didn't talk. There's something I'm doing now, which is to help people that want to start businesses. There are questions you really need to ask yourself before you start a business. Because, many times in our heads, we just go like, oh, by the time I start, CD should be able to buy 40. I remember asking someone that wanted to start a business that, so who is going to patronize your business? And she told me that I have a lot of friends that are very influential, that they are going to, and that was more or less her marketing plan. Thankfully, it worked out for her well anyway, but I don't think it is a great marketing plan. I think you need to sit down as in this, my other friend I was talking about, we had to go to the point of even their marketing plan. We reviewed everything and we found out that their marketing plan itself was weak. They were just, all they were depending on was that the website will bring customers. You're not targeting anybody. You just have a website. You're not sending any traffic to the website. There's no visibility. So how are the sales going to come? And all of that. And the other guy did not have, there was nothing in his charter for him to improve the website's visibility or anything of the sort. So we eventually had to sit down and review their entire business plan and their marketing plan. We had to sit down and work on all of those things. And I'm really happy that years later, that business is still standing and is standing profitably. So sorry for butting in, Mobola. Do you still have anything more you'd like to talk about before we switch to the other book?
Yeah. I would love to talk about how it affected, Jumoke's marriage. I'm coming. My son was actually needed my attention, so he wrote something out for me. Okay, so I was going to talk about how it affected Jumoke's marriage, Jumoke's home. I think the husband went too overboard. Yeah. Now, so taking the story back to the beginning, where I said that it was why, like I said, we're not told his financial strength, so we didn't really know how boxed up he was, and he was ready to keep doling the funds out. Now, the way it affected our home, I felt the man could have done better. Yeah, there was no cause for him to ask her to. Number one, I blamed Jumoke at some point. So when he told you that, yes, people tell you things, but when you are relaying the message back, it's the wisdom advises that you keep some back to yourself if you know those ones you are going to say is going to truncate a lot of things. So like the husband telling Jumoke that you move, that your friend that is not married, as in shaming Adanna because she's not married. I know of unmarried couples, unmarried people that give married couples advice, like, babes, I don't think, have you tried this? And it worked out. So not the entire scenario, Adanna's marital status has no freaking business. It has nothing to do with the entire scenario. So bringing that in was, of course, that was what was a slap on Adanna's face. And Jumoke backstabbing Adanna again, getting to the office and telling people what sort of things without telling them that I gave her my consent. That was really, I saw myself in Adanna and I'm like, okay, so this is way below the belt. I was saying below the belt. And this is way below the belt. Jumoke shouldn't have done that, because if Jumoke had not said that, whilst the guy was ranting and sending all manner of stuff, Adanna, being smart, could have come up with something to tackle that guy before he got that worse, and it became a mess that Jumoke's husband's office had to be, they had to call him to order. He had, and so many things that happened. I felt that Jumoke shouldn't have backstabbed on Adanna. And if I thought you are going to give the information, like I said earlier, wisdom permits that you take some things off. If I tell this person that, oh, this is what social person said, and I know it's going to hurt her deeply, I will just take it off the whatever I'm going to transact with her. I'll take it off completely because I don't want to see her hurt. Because me doing that actually shows the test and the true test of my friendship with her. Except the friend is just by the friendship doesn't go beyond the lips. If it's true friendship, like we're told in the book was being described, they had lunch together, mentally they gel, they could brainstorm and solve issues together, then I think Jumoke should have done better. I'm glad she retraced her steps by actually apologizing, but at that point she was saying that a lot of things had gone very bad. A lot of things had gone very bad. And for Jumoke's husband, he really went out of board. I do not think put your social media handle, log it off or log it down should warrant him packing out of the house. Yes, he was on a transfer, but you know, in what I've learned about marriage is when there are little frictions and it's not resolved amicably, it degenerates into something big. So even just that small thing is being magnified, and it's like by the time you are tracing back what's the major cause of this, you realize that it's something very minute that could have been well and properly managed if wisdom was applicable. So for Jumoke's husband, I don't want to say he has an ulterior motive. I don't want to say he has a plan of his own, but in all honesty, he didn't act mature at all where the decisions he took were concerned. Thank you very much. I would love to rest my case here. And okay, so before I do that, the guy, I think Chukwu, is it Chukwemeka or something? I can't remember his name now. The guy that was handling the website for them. I do not think. Sorry?
That's what Jumoke and the husband, right?
Jumoke and the husband, right. Do you know that Jumoke, after Jumoke imputes the things she was taught from the WhatsApp platform Adanna introduced her to, she was making profits from that business. The turnovers were coming in, even maybe gradually, but the turnovers were coming in. You know, something was changing. She was seeing changes, and any acute business person would be very glad to see that after a very long time, I'm actually doing something differently from what I've been told to do, and I'm getting results. So that alone was enough for her to say that, no, I'm not going to pull this thing down. No, you know, that this thing is beginning to make profit. We are beginning to make cash from this thing. This is what we've been wanting to do all this while. And now I'm being able to do that with ease. I think it's something, it's worth it, it's something worthwhile to hold on to. But because the husband was not understanding and it boomeranged beyond proportion and, you know, affected her home and everything. And that guy, I do not think the way the story ended, I do not think that guy should not just flap off like that. I'm sure if the story had continued, Adana would have been able to put one or two checks in, and it would have been exposed, like the guy would have been exposed, and, you know, you wouldn't have the innocent suffering for no just. Remember, the same guy had to, whatever he did to Adana's phone and leaked out all the messages, all the transactions and all. I'm talking about Wale and the other guy. Sorry, I hope I'm not taking more time.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So speaking about Wale, I think Wale was a bit childish when he saw Adana's call. So there's this saying, well, not a saying per se, but there's a principle I'd hold on to. I love to hear from when I'm told, oh, this is what social person has done, or I see this what I always love to interact with people. I want to hear, why did you do that? I want to give more like a benefit of doubt. Like, okay, so why did you do that? If Wale had known, I think Wale bailed out on Adana at the slightest opportunity. Like I said earlier, the test of friendship. The test of friendship. Wale should have been able to know that if this person could go out all the way to help me, to ensure that I'm not suicidal, to ensure that I'm feeling better with myself, what would she stand to gain by exposing those things? Apparently, he acted on impulse. You know, what would she gain? Because that's the way I think. Okay, so what would this person stand to gain by doing this, by trying to hurt me, so I really want to hear your opinion. Like, okay, so why did you do that? Why do you have to backstab me? Have I done anything to warrant that? I felt Wale should have given her, you know, a what's it called? Wale should have listened to her. And if he had, I'm sure if he had done that, the damage that was done would not be that much. Wouldn't have been that much, you know. And for the other guy whose sister happens to work with one of the blogs, something, I really don't. I don't. Sorry,
James, right?
James, right? Yeah. I think his sister just wanted to. Well, I guess that was really the description she had there, that she just wanted to fluff off. She's not, her personality is someone that delights in other people's misfortune. And really, that's not really that's not a good sign. So why would you derive joy from saying that? Yeah, you could send in gist and not even knowing that this person, my brother is head over heels with this person and all. I think there's some things we should have the sanity to keep away from our families, even if that is our job, if that is what we do for a living. There are some things we should take off our family completely. Why? Just to protect them. Just to protect them. So I think I've done.
Okay,
I've done it.
thank you very much. So just to be clear, if someone was a gossip blogger and let's say he or she has a relative that is quite influential and there's enough tea on the influential relative, let's say it's a distant relative or maybe it's even an in-law, and the gossip blogger happens to get some scoop that is exclusive, you're saying that gossip blogger should keep that off the blog? What if it's an in-law you actually don't like?
So far is still within the family. So far is still within. If the influential person brings out gist about other people outside, I mean, it's okay. People say stuff. The gist could have been heard from anybody. It can be traced to me. But if at all in any way, it has a link back, it's going to be traced back to my family, or it has a link back to it. I don't think I would do that. I won't, because
okay. So what if you're able to cleverly leak the gist without having it ever getting traced back to you, and you have let's say they're offering you $1 million, for example, to leak the gist, and it will not be traced back to you, and it will just be an anonymous source.
Yeah, an anonymous source. Whether it would be traced back to me or not, I wouldn't do that, because that is what family bond is for. Family bond.
You don't like this relative or you don't like this in-law. Let's say they've been part of those that have been telling your husband to marry another wife, for example. And
even at that, it's still one way or the other related to the family. I wouldn't.
Okay,
Sorry?
I said, so you let it slide. You let $1 million slide.
No, I won't let it out. Because one thing I've come to realize is there's really no anonymous in anonymous. It may take a while. It may not be immediately. It may not even be in the next 1 or 2 years. But anonymous would not always remain unanonymous.
Hallelujah. That's a deep quote. And there's nothing like anonymous. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, so just to say, like the book is actually currently on pre-order, which means that it's going to be released. The full book is going to be released by the 23rd of July next month. Yeah. So these 10 chapters are just like the foretaste.
Okay, great. Of the entire book.
So please pre-order and invite others and tell others about it, please. Thank you.
Sure, thank you very much.
Okay. So I think we've done a good job with this. I'm going to switch over to the next book, the second book we read, which is I Had To by Adebukola Basi. So I'll switch over. I'll stop recording now.